episode of White Lithium Eurotrash.
Today's episode is we're going to be making more progress putting parts back onto the green Saab 900 Turbo than any other episode. I am so excited, but first we need to go over to Tri-City Hydraulics and snag a couple O-rings that I forgot to buy. We're going to stop at Tri-State Equipment. This is one of my favorite places in Milwaukee. This is a hydraulic shop. They've helped me out with a couple specialized items in the past, including the hoses for the SLS system on the Mercedes 300 Turbo Diesel. And so they're going to have this O-ring that we need for the flange mounts for the Saab bearings. Look at this place. A place with actually has hardware right here. An actual O-ring selection. Look at all this brass they've got right. This is the way breakfast should be in this country. All right, I do have to say, now that I have all these parts ready, it is a little bit daunting because I have a huge scope of work ahead of me. But I think here's what I'm going to do. We're going to start from the inside out. We're going to pull the flange bearings off of the car that are installed there. I believe that they're the same whether you're a pre-85 or a post-85 car. We're going to do a little analysis of what we've got, clean things up, change some seals, and then move on from there. So let's get going. We have a rainy day here in Milwaukee, which I think does give a peaceful ambiance to the scene. I'm going to be working today, I think, to primarily Icelandic music. I'm going to start with Jóhann Jóhannsson, who sadly left us because of addiction issues, but on a rainy day there's nothing better than contemporary classical music from Iceland because, I don't know, there's just something, if you've ever been to Iceland, there's something lonely and about the Icelandic landscape that really makes you reflect about the world that you're in. Look at these rear trailing arms that have been soaking in the evaporust. These are galvanized, okay? That's why there's not a bit of rust on them at all. They're galvanized. That's why some of these other pieces I've seen online have these as zinc plated. I'm not going to zinc plate these because that's not the original finish. These are almost usable in their current form. I may lay some gray paint on them that mimics the galvanization though. And these two drive shafts that were the original drive shafts, the one Chinese drive shaft, remember, and then the one original Saab drive shaft, these can officially get moved to the side because I have everything required to make them new. These, the original Saab drive shafts that I've had soaking in the evaporust, I am going to paint them, but I'm gonna bolts holding the flange for the inner driver on. I'm gonna come at them from way out here. Make that easy. Oh, they're on kind of tight, aren't they? Oh, come on, get stuck on there. Stick on there. Break them all loose first. That one's looser. These universal joints from the Japanese company KTC or Nipros have the axis of the joint in line, which means that they move much more smoothly. It just occurred to me that when I pull off this flange, all my gearbox oil might come pouring out, so I guess I'm gonna drain it. But because I have about $45 worth of AMSOIL fancy fluid in here, I'm gonna try and save it in this clean bucket, okay? We're gonna try and reuse this. All right, baby, come on. Did drive this a couple hundred miles since I put this in. Ooh, clean as a whistle. Any chunks? Nope. Little bits of stuff in there, but this is still good fluid. Perfectly clean. Not clear, but all right, let's see how this comes out here. Come on. Pops right out. You can see some tapered roller bearings in there. Good thing I drained that fluid. Okay, great. Great. Okay, so here's some fascinating stuff. Here's the inner driver that I just pulled off the car, the 84, okay? Notice the small size cups that go with the small size bearing. We have the two rings, okay? All right. This little thing right here is a little button that's spring-loaded in the end of here that must keep the bearings loaded, preloaded. Oh, crazy. Yeah, can't lose that. But look at this right here. See, this flange has these here's these little casting gussets right here. Now, and then look at the later one that I got from Sean at Red Arrow. This would be the post 1985 part with all these additional gussets and these recesses in it. So I guess I'm kind of torn on which part to put back on the car. I think they'll both fit. Now, from the outside, they look identical. Look at this thing right here, that this little baffle that goes down that holds a little oil up in that bearing area, right? Just to trap a little pool of oil in that area. Cool. You know, here's the deal. When you look at these shims and everything, I think that this is set up so precisely. I'm going to put the original part back onto the car as opposed to switching to this flange, just so that I assume the stacking and the preload of the spring pressure stays hopefully as similar as possible. It's risky business right now. If I make an assessment of the bearings that I got on these parts from Sean, you've got a little bit more play in the one that came off the car, perhaps. Probably not a ton. If we look at this tapered bearing set right here, okay. So this spring, so you have the tapered bearing here that carries the majority of the load. This spring is providing, what is this spring doing for us? It's providing a little bit of preload on, why do we want to preload these ball bearings? That doesn't make any sense. The left side of the car has way more gunk on it, and so I'm going to attempt to kind of degrease everything a little bit better before I before I take this off the car, just because I don't want to get any crud getting into the transmission. Remember when I said I wasn't going to be using that much brake cleaner? I lied. I am going to be using cans of it. All right, we got that cleaned up a little bit. Let's get in here. Take off this speedometer cable. Ooh. Okay. Don't have a replacement of that. Hadn't planned on replacing that yet. All right, let's get this one off. Come on. A little different feel than the previous one. That give you a little. Wow. Okay. Need to think about this. All right, I've made the executive decision that we're going to pull off this rear cover so we can see what's going on in here. Oh my God, it's so loose. No way. No way. Crazy. That wasn't on there hardly at all. Okay. Oh man. All right. There we go. And she's off. Okay, we'll let that drip a little bit. All right, now we can see that there's really nothing keeping me from popping off this other inner driver other than the fact that the entire diff is going to come apart. Oh my God, I'm dripping all over myself. Which is not a bad deal. I can just take this apart and inspect it quick. That sounds fine. Ah, come on. God damn it. Oh my God. Why is this one on so tight compared to the other one? Okay. Shit. Hang on. Come on, baby. There we go. Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Careful. Oh, man. Okay. Okay. And when you want to pull the diff out, you just have to align it so, perfectly like that, and then it'll come out because they've left you clearance on the other side of the casting to get it out. So now we can see a lot more of what's going on in here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and actually try and pull out the drivers. So we're going to still haven't gotten that decent pair of external snap ring pliers in, but yep. Just get in here, pull that deal off. All right, let's just kind of get that out of there. It is a slip fit, I think. So we'll just do this very gently. Light tap. Come on. Okay. So here's the old style bearing housing, the old style driver, which is coming off of the car. Okay, now we do the same with the other side. I'm going to make an observation right now. Every single fit, which is on the passenger or the right side of the car, all the fits of the bearings, the fits of the flange to the transmission, everything is looser than on the driver's or left side of the car. And I'm just kind of like curious why that is. All right, at this point, we have separated the new larger drivers from the newer flanges, and it does look like the same bearing fit, so that's good. Let's clean everything up and try and reassemble it. While I'm waiting for that degreaser to soak in, I'm just taking the parts that I'm not going to use, i.e. the new flange with the old driver, and I'm just lightly trying to fit them together to make sure that they have the correct fits, and they do. All right, I'm going to change this seal right here on the transmission selector input shaft, but first of all, what I've done, I'm marking my coupler right here. Come on, give me some light. So that you can, so that I can easily get it back into the same position after I remove this thing, which is a bit of a chore. You guys want to see what an amazing girlfriend that is? She just drove Gold Key and picked me up. I know I said I wouldn't use it, but 3 more cans of red brake clean. Everybody's favorite girlfriend. We should get some beer later. I'm gonna, later tonight.
I got you your LaCroix.
Oh, thanks. And the LaCroix. Oh my gosh. She's the best! I know what you guys are saying. If you didn't have that parts cleaner filled with evapor rust, you could be using that right now, but we don't. Boy, I don't know what it is about spraying cans of brake cleaner that makes me think about my reproductive health. But if any of you were wondering about the results of that that sperm count test that I have, let me just say I'm like double normal sperm count, double normal sperm mobility, so my swimmers can swim, boys. All right, now that we've got these pretty well and cleaned up, I'm gonna come in here and try and pop these seals out if I can. Oh, they're in there pretty well. Yep, that's not, oh, there we go. Got one out. Whoa. And two. All right. Whoa, we got crap in here. That's the whole thing. There's just like 100,000 miles of transmission. You just get a bunch of crap in there. So give me I'm gonna use WD-40 to kind of flush everything through, flush the solvents through out of these bearings and everything. Oh wow, look at this right here. So you can they have these openings so you can circulate oil around through here. Okay, so this is top, it's labeled top right there. And at the bottom you have this like, or no, at the top, so there's the baffle at the bottom that holds the oil, and then the stirring must allow it to just circulate through up at the top. That's really interesting. Just think about how many little details go into designing one of these things. All right, we've got these new seals here. I think these came from FCP Euro, perhaps. Yep, those are gonna fit nice. Let's get them tapped in. Before we press this in, let's just make sure we've got it the right way. The lip is holding the oil on the inside of the transmission, okay? So always just think about the logic of the seal when you're gonna press that seal in, okay? We're not gonna tap it. We're gonna get it in nice and flat. There we go. Perfect. Let's look at this old seal, okay? This side right up here is the outside of the car towards the driver. This is inside the transmission, okay? So you've got two lips. You've got this primary lip seal back here, which is holding the oil in. And then you've got this other lip out here, which is the wiper. Look at how much dirt is trapped between that wiper and the U-cup. Interesting. When you look right here, okay, on your driver, you see this wear mark. That is the area where that dirt is in between those two seals, and it's rubbing on it right there. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of this really good grease in the lips of this seal when I press it back onto the new drivers for the larger tripod bearings, okay? Now, if we think about these tripod bearings, these are not handed, but they are handed because they're used, right? So I can look in here and see that there's more wear on one surface than the other, all right? So this part right here, I think this part was installed on the left side of the car. Let's look at the other one and see if by chance I got a pair of them. This one, blessed me. This one looks like it was installed on the right side of the car. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna invert them so that the fresh surface in here, which wasn't worn, is used for me, okay? All right, so here we go, let's do it. It's a messy job, but somebody's got to do it. All right, we're going to take a tiny little bit of grease. We're going to be putting that right around here, okay? I'm going to take a tiny bit of grease. I'm going to put it around these lips of this seal right here. All right. The rest of it is in an oil bath. Okay. All right, here we go. Now I'm gonna extremely carefully tap this back on, only tapping the inside part of the bearing. Almost there. Good. So now I think I have it all the way down. So the question is, will the snap ring go in the groove? Will the snap ring go in the groove? Which it has not yet. Almost there. Come on, baby. Yay! It's in. Boom. All right. We've got a nice, smooth bearing action. Now, all this time has been spent since this morning when we got brunch, but it's finally time to pick off that O-ring. This was the only part that I didn't have, so I'll take that bad boy off there. Get one of our new ones that we sourced over there this morning. Get one of them. Put it on there. Nice. Very precise fits, how you can feel the bearing tension change after you press it in. You know, the thing about grease though, grease is the friend of the seal, but it's the enemy of collecting dust. So I'm actually gonna now come in after I press these in, and I'm gonna wipe off that excess grease that I put in there, right in this area right here, okay? If you look at this O-ring that was on that flange, look at how it's taken a real compression set, totally flattened itself out over time. All right, now we're gonna turn our attention to removing the shift linkage so I can mess around with this bushing and the seal right there while I have the access. This evidently on these older cars is a tapered pin, and it's quite hard to remove. And I'm contemplating whether the juice is worth the squeeze. Okay, I heated right in the area ever so slightly, then I hit it harder than you would think you would need to hit it, and this pin will come out then, okay? Don't go overkill with the heat because obviously you've got plastics around here and you don't want to melt everything, right? Especially because I don't really know what the game plan is with the bushings in here. So now I can go ahead and remove this. I've marked all my lines here. Got lines marked over here. I can slide that whole thing back, okay? Because on these older cars, you don't even have an alignment thing here, so if you get that thing wrong, you're in a world of hurt. So now let's try and get this seal popped out of here. Thank God I've got that new Brake Master cylinder and servo, because I see I've got a nice leak, which was the cause of all that corrosion over there. So we've enlisted the help of the trusty girlfriend to hold the shift lever while we're gonna come in here and try and get this coupler off. Okay, hold it, push it forward. Is it all the way forward? Okay. Shoot. Damn it. Can I get it? Okay. So you can get it. There we go. Oh God, I hope my lines hold. Oh no. I don't know. It might. Can you push it back the other way now? I know. All right, I think one of my lines might have held. Otherwise, anywho. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, in a positive note, the condition of this part is really nice shape. Interesting. God. Let me see if I have a way to extract this seal. I might be on the verge of screwing something up here, guys. Here's the technique I used. I used a mini pry bar with an angle about like that, And then you can get up behind it like this and pry out on it, and then you can get that off. But I was really struggling with it before that. And I've barely got any white mark remaining. Okay. Now that's going to let me get a glance at this actual bushing in here. Let's get that. Okay, when you get the bushing off of there, it looks like this. It's a split flange bearing. Here's one thing I'm curious about, okay? This part felt really loose in here before I took the bushing out. And I'm wondering if this was maybe, this holds that in, if this was maybe not pressed in far enough. I don't know. We'll see after we put this back together. Okay, so even though this is down inside the transmission, I'm gonna put some white lithium grease on this thing just because, why not? And I'm not gonna put a ton that's gonna contaminate the rest of the oil. I'm just gonna put a little bit on the inside diameter here. Okay. And put that back in there. Okay. Now, the new bushing. Not totally sure how I'm going to press this on here. I got this. That will fit there. Okay. So now I need to somehow get this out of the way so I can somehow tap on this or force this with a clamp perhaps? I don't know. Let's think about this a minute. Okay, now this is interesting. This bushing had definitely walked itself out. Okay? And I was able to easily tap it in with a very light plastic hammer and using that socket as a tool. And it went in much farther, and this bushing does not have any play. Like, it has way less play in it. Look at where the line is, where this old bushing was pressed into, and then look at where the new bushing presses into. Absolutely. I bet this is gonna be a huge part of the shifting problems right here. This is like a design flaw from Saab, actually, because this thing will walk itself out over time. All right, called in our helper again, so now we're gonna try and put this back on. So I'll get the tapered end on first, and then we'll try and align it, and hopefully some of my paint mark still exists, and it's still aligned roughly. It's all the way forward now? Okay, hang on. Let me find my little pin. Okay, so now we'll take our little tapered pin. Of course, it's a tapered pin. Very tight fit. All right, and we'll get that on first. Then we'll... God, I'm almost like, should I just do the... Okay, so we'll get that on first. Hang on, time out, never cease. Ever was something that needs a little bit of the silvery goodness. It's this deal right here, okay? Oh my God, does it need it. Talk about something that'll freeze you up and break your heart. She's as cold as ice. She's willing to sacrifice your Saab. What a terrible shot. What terrible content. Now let's see if we can get it lined up with some kind of mark like we had before. Okay, now slowly pull back on the rod. Slowly. A little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, keep going. Keep going. More. More. A little more. Really? That's the end of the line?
Yeah. All the way back.
All the way back.
Yeah, I'm all the way back.
You're all the way back?
Yeah.
God damn it. Hold on. Okay, hang on. Yup, there we go. Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, so this is where it was before. All right, don't move it. Don't move it. But here's a prediction, boys. I suspect I'm going to be opening up the side of this transmission to align this shifter, okay? Hold steady. It's not racist, don't worry. Here, just, I need to feel the shifter. Come on.
Don't say that on camera. Get out of here. Watch out. Why didn't you say that before? Why'd you have to turn on the camera?
Because I want to know, I want the internet to know that I don't have an even slightly racist girlfriend. The racist in this relationship, I don't know.
What are you saying right now? Nothing was. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is in the mid-60s when Edward Said published Orientalism, and I'm talking about the legacy of Orientalism in modern liberal thought and the way we fetishize brown people. That's what I'm talking about. Now, let's see if this shifts. Oh, God, no.
I feel like that's just something you should not have in your visuals.
Well, we didn't get it right, Liz.
What'd you say?
We didn't get it right, that's for sure.
What'd you say?
We're way off.
I'm way off.
How are we way off? Okay. Oh, God. Next year, after this car was built, they put an alignment system into the car for aligning the shift lever. This is sad. Dale's Pale Ale.
I know.
That's how good of a girlfriend this is. She's like, do you want me to buy you some beer? And I'm like, yes. Here's the system. All right. You got to get it into reverse. And the way you do that, you can just grab this. All right. And obviously I have this disassembled, but if you had it assembled, you could also tell it just the same. So now you can tell that the pinion gear is turning anti-clockwise. Okay. And in every other gear that you can move the shaft to, the pinion is turning clockwise. Okay? So you will know you're in reverse when the pinion is turning anti-clockwise. So now that I believe that I'm in reverse, I'm going to go ahead and put the shift lever in reverse. All right, we believe that's reverse right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and tighten down this. All right. Not really in the same place that I had it before. That's interesting. Let's see. Maybe, you know what? Maybe this isn't right. All right, we got that on there pretty tight. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. If this theory was right. All right. So now, oh my God. All right. Better than it was. 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. Oh my God. Wow, that really worked. Go me. It's almost like one lets me go too far over. Yeah. Still don't love my self-centering, okay? But, yeah. Okay, now let's start getting this differential back together. Let's get this over to here. Let's get this carefully reinserted to here. Okay. Like so. Just Hang out in there, man. Okay, here you go. There you go. Now you can't come out, right? There you go. Okay, so the notches in the shims orient themselves to the top, upward. Okay, so these flanges have a preferred orientation. Okay, now let's try and get this thing in here. Man, this is gonna be a fiddly deal, isn't it? Holy smokes, and we got this fucking little button thing in the end. All right, here we go. Let's come in with one hand over here in the tunnel, okay? Let's get this right here. Man, why did I drink those 2 beers? Big mistake. And they're Dale's Pale Ales. They're too strong, man. Come on. Oh. What did we drop? Come on. All right, that's in. Now we just gotta bring it home, right? So these have moved on me. All right, I'm just getting one bolt started to lock the radial orientation of the shims in the correct place. And I'm going to just hook up the speedo cable. To get that out of the way. And then I think what my general strategy is gonna be here is that I'm gonna kind of, because this is kind of a tight fit to get into the splines, I'm gonna draw them into the splines from each side using the screws, okay? Other side in, it kind of aligns everything. It makes it a lot easier. Good thing I caught it. I forgot to insert the spring-loaded button on the right-hand side. That could have been disastrous. All right, we've got this all together. Let's kind of get it all snugged up. Holy smokes, I thought I would get 3 times more done today than I actually got done. That's... Greens for me to lose one of the thinnest shims. And the fact of the matter is we've changed a bunch of components here too, so. But the shims behind these flanges, they control the preload on the tapered roller bearings. So the actual, the drivers themselves have essentially nothing to do with that preload, okay? Nothing. All right, now we come over and just kind of, let's get these snugged in. Now that we got the other side placed. Okay. All right, nice free motion there. We're gonna call this a stopping point because I just can't go on. I need to go to dinner. So, thank you for watching. This has been another episode of White Lithium Eurotrash. There will be another episode very soon because I'm gonna build this out tomorrow.